What's up, everybody? Brett Mix here. Welcome to the Monday Night Wars. This is the WWF side, week 61, the 189th episode of Raw in its history. It was on the USA Network from the Ice Palace in Tampa Bay, Florida. This Raw took place on December the 16th, 1996. The night after In Your House, It's Time, where Sid beat Brett with the help of HBK. This was a live show. Ratings for Raw were a 2.3. Nitro got the opposite of that, a 3.2. So Nitro wins for the 25th week in a row. So after this week's loss, the total scoreboard is now 17 wins for Raw, 42 losses, and 2 draws. Again, that's 17, 42, and 2 for the WWF against WCW. And the Raw that got the 2.3 rating was brought to you by Vince McMahon, King, and JR. Show opened with Bret Hart coming to the ring, and he means business right off from the get-go. They usually never used to cut off or start Raw with like a promo for a big segment. That's what happened later in years, 97, 98, 99, 2000, all the way to now even. They start off Raw usually with a promo between people or just one guy. But back then, from 1993 to this point right here, in late 96, they usually have a match to open Raw or maybe a backstage segment. But this is one of the first times that they have like an in-ring promo to start the show, which makes it feel special. And Bret Hart came out determined because he got screwed the night before by Shawn Michaels. Wouldn't be the first time, wouldn't be the only time. Bret Hart says the only rules in the WWF there are no rules. Since he's back, things have changed. Bret said HBK can't help the fact he's not as good as he is. Bret says it's fine by me that there are no rules, and he will do everything and anything to get to the top. He also announces his place in the Royal Rumble. Bret Hart says he's going to do like HBK did, and he's going to be an announcer and not bother anyone. In a sarcastic tone, he says that. And sorry about that, that's just my phone. So Bret said that in a sarcastic tone that he wouldn't get involved, which is interesting because the first match is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Vader. This was the Tough Man match that was supposed to take place the night after Survivor Series 96, but Vader had his shoulder injury, so it takes place now, 4 weeks later. Bret Hart on commentary, and Austin lets his feelings be known to the Hitman. Stone Cold Steve Austin brawls to begin and pushed in the corner. Austin with a Fez press to Vader off the ropes. The fans pop for that move. Austin drops a double axe handle onto Vader on the outside. These two win it all over the arena, McMahon says during the break. Austin sent into the steps by Vader. Vader brawled with Austin by the guardrail, and then the man they call Vader sends Stone Cold Steve Austin over the guardrail to the concrete. Austin with more shots to Vader on the outside. Vader with a bear clap off the ropes back in the ring. Vader goes up top for a Vader bomb, and Austin counters with a huge low blow. It's no disqualification as it's a tough man's contest. Austin with rights to the man they call Vader on the rope, and who back body drops him. Austin to the floor. Physical match here. Bret then comes off commentary and attacks Austin before putting him in the sharpshooter. The ref was willing to let some of it go, but not this. Not when he's got the sharpshooter locked in outside the ring and he won't let him go. Austin wins a DQ by DQ at 4:32, not counting commercials. The match ends with Austin as the victor. Bret Hart has him in a sharpshooter. He's in a foul mood, and he's showing his signs of a heel turn to come. Just foreshadowing it with his actions. The match, and that's the best Bret we get. When Bret's heel in 97, that's one of the best versions of Bret we get. Physically, he's in his prime. On the mic, his character, that's the best Bret, in my opinion. The early 1990s IC title Bret was great too, as was the tag Bret in the 80s. Bret's just great, but the 97 version special. So this foreshadowing, leaving olive branches to that, is really neat. We got that match between Austin and Vader. I rated it at 2 stars and a quarter. We go on from that in the clip of Ahmed Johnson from In Your House. It's time. Farouk and his nation cut a promo on the top of the In Your House, the guardrail. And Farouk with his nation. And Ahmed Johnson does that crowd chant of, "You're going down. You're going down." I don't know how that caught on, but it did, and the fans chanted it. They now have confirmed Ahmed Farouk for the Royal Rumble. They've confirmed Vader and The Undertaker. They confirmed HBK and Sid and the Rumble match. All they have to do now is add that Mexican tag and Goldust Helmsley, and I believe that's all they had. That's the whole card. and they have a few weeks to build to it. So it's always good when the WWF has their full card booked a few weeks before. It adds intrigue. And the Royal Rumble usually sells itself. Next up, we had Razor Ramon and Diesel versus the Godwins. A standing side headlock as Razor gets clotheslined to the floor. Not too happy about that. Phineas Godwin slammed Ramon and then Henry O slams him down and on top of him. Henry Godwin with an armbar until Razor rakes the face and Diesel comes in. Diesel with a knee to the Henry Godwin. The Godwins with a knee back and a hot tag as Razor and Diesel are cutting off their half of the ring. Once the hot tag was prevented, I should say. Diesel and Razor taking it to the Godwins, a standing arm bar while Razor slapped away at him, much like the heel Razor used to do whenever he's in an arm bar, slapping at his opponent's Razor Ramon when he was heel. This is, of course, the fake Razor. Another tag in, and Glenn Jacobs' version of Diesel comes in with Henry. He gives him a side suplex after a boot to the face. Henry O needs to take this to Phineas I, but Diesel comes off with his body weight. A reverse elbow as Phineas finally gets a hot tag and drops Razor and Diesel with shots, hard forearm shots and slams. All of a sudden, the Razor's edge was going to be hit, but then he lands on his feet, and then Henry comes in and hits him with a slop drop. Instead, Henry turns around, and then Diesel's right there and jackknifes him. Diesel jackknifes him, and Henry Godwin couldn't save the Phineas from being pinned. So Diesel and Razor win at 6:30. Gave the match a 1.5 stars. McMahon asks if anyone can stop Sid's reign, and he says no because he's the master and ruler. And then HBK backstage says he's not going to cry like Bret Hart, but he says he lives his life open. And can anybody else say that? HBK says, "You're not the Heartbreak Kid, and you never will be, Bret." Dr. X and TL Hopper take on Doug Furnas and Phil LaFon. Phil LaFon and Doug Furnas with some good tag team wrestling here. Double leg pickup, bear hug, spine busters. Dr. X in a full red mask with TL Hopper, the plunger. Mr. Plunger. Plunger's name is Betsy, by the way, his manager. A snapshot vertical suplex. Seriously. A snapshot vertical suplex. Furnas gets a hot tag and then runs over Dr. X and Hopper with a dropkick. A fast power slam that gets a near fall. LaFon and Furnas knocked them to the outside. A gut wrench suplex to the win for LaFon to pin Harper. Just over 3 minutes. I gave it a star. Doug Furnas and Phil LaFon are good wrestlers. The other two could use some work. This is a good segment here. Sable comes out with Mero to take on Lawler in the finals of the Karate Fighters tournament. Lawler had Helmsley with him while Sable had Mero. They go at it, and Sable wins. Lawler demands a rematch, and Mero says, "Pick on me. Pick on someone your own size." Triple H jumps him, and then Triple H goes down for a 2-on-1 with the King attacking Mero until Goldust comes out. The first time Goldust is seen in a face situation. He's to protect helping Mero. 2-on-2 because he's got beef with Helmsley. And then the King gets on the mic and says, "I don't know what your problem with Helmsley is. He passed at Marlena. It shouldn't bother you because you're..." And then Goldust says, "You're what?" And King went, "You're..." And then Goldust said, "What?" And King went, "You're queer." And Goldust went, "No," and slapped him in the face. Now, there's nothing wrong with being queer, but that's what he said. And he slapped him in the face, did Goldust. I'm personally saying there's nothing wrong with it. I don't know. The King said that on the microphone, then Goldust slapped him, and the fans cheered. The main event was Bart Gunn versus Billy Gunn, and that comes all from the Milton Bradley Karate Fighter segment. Billy Gunn takes on Bart. Billy says he's been carrying Bart most of the years, a neck breaker, and then a stun gun by Bart to Billy, and Billy's seriously hurt in kayfabe, I imagine. No rating. Well, it wasn't kayfabe, or else they wouldn't have showed it. That says it for the match portion of the show. After the match, the paramedics and officials attended to Bart. The end of the show, they replayed what happened to Bart and got whiplash after his stun gun to the ropes. McMahon says we'll see you next week, and not many people watched next week as it was a holiday episode, and it did a 1.5, I believe, next week. But this Raw does a 2.3 to Nitro's 3.2, a 25th loss in a row. I rated it a 5 out of 10 because Austin and Vader was pretty good. They got a pretty good Shawn and Bret promo and the Goldust Lawler segment. If you get one good match in a 1 hour slot, it's going to have an average rating, and so was this, 5 out of 10. I'm Brett Mix, and I'll see you on the next Raw review. Thanks for watching, everyone.